Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and happy Monday. Today we're going to be talking about a few things, especially related to Apocalypse and also the upcoming level cap increase. Now, we did have the official kit information for Apocalypse on Friday. I want to go back over that once we're done the news stuff, and I want to talk about my impressions of Apocalypse and, honestly, my slight disappointment in the character and the kit. Now, I want to kind of reference that with regards to some of the characters that we have had this past year in 2022. And I also want to go over basically where I'm at in my roster as far as unlocking Apocalypse and what I have left to do. So we can kind of see where I'm at for that and where maybe some of you might be at as well. So if you're ready to go, everybody, then let's boil this down. Okay, and welcome back. And so this came out, well, as of recording, probably about a half hour ago, this blog post here. Now it says, every character for Apocalypse revealed. Now, we kind of knew that if you did watch the Strike Time video on Friday, but it's been a bit more clear here now, specifically in text form, if you want to see it here. So really no surprise here, but it's 23 characters for Apocalypse to unlock him, win the Apocalypse Saga, which obviously includes the 4 Horseman team characters here, plus Spider-Weaver, Kestrel, and Deathpool. Now, make sure that you do, if you want to unlock Baby Apocalypse, that you do need to have these characters at Gear Tier 16, Blue ISO level 4, and if you want the Big Boy Apocalypse, which, honestly, let's be real, like, I think the amount of people who are going to get that are, like, the top 100, top 200 people, really, the spenders, the Krakens, the Cthulhus, you know, because you need Gear Tier 17, but you also need Blue ISO 5, which really there has been very little of that to go around. We'll have more details about the final Apocalypse Saga. Now, this is probably going to happen, my guess is towards the end of next patch. Now, that would place it somewhere in early March is my guess, because we might see the patch this coming week, maybe Wednesday, possibly, I'm not sure. Or if not, then it's going to be next week, but it could be as early as this week. And so I would slate that this is going to be towards the end, because we still need to get the Death Saga as well. That hasn't come out yet, so that's going to have to come out before the Apocalypse Saga. So just wanted to let people know about that one. And we have the official announcement that arriving with the upcoming version 6.7 is going to be the level 95 upgrade. So that should be interesting, because it takes about 2 months or so to get 5 levels typically. Now, it depends on how much they've increased the level or the XP requirements between level 90 and level 95, but I would say on average it takes about 2 to 2.5 months, depending on how much cores you're putting into your energy, which is a completely another topic, really, because I know that some people have kind of like, you know, unless there's an event running, that they don't tend to core as much for campaign energy. I know I don't, because I just don't feel it's worth it because of how many power cores that we typically would need to save for most events that are coming at us. So previously we've accompanied a level with a new gear tier, so this is not happening now. At the same time, the team has heard your feedback and decided to improve the time between level and gear tier to make them more manageable. So there is going to be no gear tier 18 with version 6.7. What that means is that it's probably going to be the patch after. So typically we would see a new level cap, we would see a new gear tier, and usually a new raid as well. So it says additional levels without a new gear tier will allow you to power up characters for game modes like the current Doom raids and sagas, which are balanced around level 90. Apocalypse sagas are designed around level 90, so leveling up is not required to complete them. Now, there is no, it doesn't say that we're not getting Doom Raid 4, but if we don't, then very likely it's going to be patch 6.8 that we're going to see Doom Raid 4 alongside the new Gear Tier 18. My guess is that Doom Raid 4 is probably going to contain new orbs, or more of the Gear 17 orbs at the very least. So we'll have to wait and see about that one. But yeah, we may or may not be getting Doom Raid 4 next patch, but it could be the patch after that. To celebrate this level increase, the new level 95 will launch with a 3-day double XP event, allowing you to level up twice as fast, right? So, like, That's cool. So I guess during this period, hopefully we can double dip by using our power cores for campaign energy, and with some luck, we might have some events that are running that will, I don't know, maybe allow us to do that as well, but we'll see. I'm assuming that the patch is this week because the Titania event, or sorry, the Titania event does start on Thursday, but the first of the sort of monthly events are going to be starting on Thursday as well, so Wednesday sounds plausible. Many millions of gold have been added to the events before and after the level cap increase. Well, I haven't seen ton of gold, so they're saying millions of gold. There was some in some of the recent events, but I mean, this is not enough to really compensate for a level cap increase. The Lunar New Year login calendar provided added gold, and another gold calendar celebrating. So interesting they talk about that one, right? The Lunar New Year thing. Let's talk about that really quickly. Because it's right here, and I did see it, and it's 1 million gold. So that's fucking shit, because that's worth maybe, what, 2 character levels? Yeah, right, okay. In order to aid leveling up and boosting your roster, there will be web free claims with energy every Monday and Wednesday throughout all of February. Sometimes gold, training materials, and other items will be in these free claims. So my guess is it's going to be crap. Don't expect anything good. Review your roster and begin prepping for the new arrival. So it is what it is, right, when it comes to the level cap increase. It's going to take some time. But we're here to talk more about Apocalypse. And for that, I want to jump back to the blog because I want to talk about... I did actually watch the Strike Time later, but what I want to talk about is this kit. And I have to say, I'm actually kind of disappointed with this kit. There's nothing new. And what I mean by new is, I mean, he's not doing something that doesn't already exist in the game. And now people are going to say, well, Boilon, you know, like his passive has this part, right? The speed of this character at each horseman ally can only be reduced by slow. And there's only one reason for this, and it's because of Emma Frost. Because they don't want to have a meta where basically you just stick in Apocalypse with Emma Frost and you overcome someone else's Apocalypse. That's basically what they want to get rid of. So it has nothing to do with turn bar, as far as I'm aware. There's no turn bar rewind, you know, anti-turn bar rewind. So it's just the fact, it's simply for Emma Frost. Plain and simple. You know, unless there's something else that I'm not aware of. At the start of any match, enemy characters cannot spawn with Safeguard. Now, people will say that's a new thing. But what I mean by that he doesn't have a new thing is that he's just using existing mechanics in the game. So he's talking about Safeguard. We're talking about immunity. We're talking about trauma. These are all things that already exist in the game on other characters. So they didn't really come out with anything brand new with Apocalypse. And after a 1 year of kind of building up towards him, that's where a lot of my disappointment is. Is he going to be a strong character? He probably is, and it would be if he's not one of the best characters in the game, that would be really, really disappointing. But kid aside, it's just he's not introducing anything brand new to the game, and that to me is a little bit disappointing. And I wanted to kind of jump back to, this is my character spreadsheet. Some of you guys may have seen this. And I want to zoom into some of the characters that we have seen basically over the last year or so and what they've introduced something brand new and unique to the game. Because they actually have. Every now and then we've gotten some characters that have, introduced either a new mechanic or a new way of doing things. And okay, yes, I know you're going to say that, okay, this is a new way of doing things because he's blocking speed and he's blocking people with Safeguard. But it's just, I feel like for the caliber that Apocalypse is, that we should have gotten something basically brand new. There's something that we should have just like, oh, wow, like our how we thought about it, how we felt about it, how we reading it should have just popped that out at us. And I didn't really get that. All I got was like a bunch of numbers and a bunch of high damage. And, while it looks really strong, it just didn't really like shock me or, really surprise me, if that makes sense. So looking past some of these other characters, Magic was quite interesting because she brought in that revive mechanic specifically for Phoenix. Now, yes, I know it was for Dark Phoenix to bring her back again, but, that was something quite interesting that we didn't see before in other characters. T'Challa Star-Lord, he was the very first character to introduce a energy drain mechanic. So when you blind somebody with T'Challa on his special, he drains energy. And I thought that was really cool. And I thought it would have been an interesting mechanic for someone that we're going to talk about later down the line here. For some of these other ones, it wasn't, I don't think it was anything brand new necessarily here. Agatha Harkness, now I do want to point her out really quickly just because she was the character that basically, her ultimate just pigeonholed the Eternals. It was a direct call out to the specific traits to the Eternals that F them up. Now, that's nothing brand new, but I wanted to point it out because I thought it was kind of funny. Morgan Le Fay, she had a very interesting kit as well with the whole 100% rewind of everyone. Again, nothing brand new because it was turn bar, which we had before, but it was still pretty interesting. A-Force, what I wanted to see with the T'Challa Star-Lord thing, honestly, is I would have wished that it was on Rogue. Or that we got something similar with Rogue, that Rogue would have had the ability to drain ability energy, frankly, with her special. On top of everything she did, she's a really strong character still, but I'm just surprised they didn't want to introduce something brand new with Rogue as well, that kind of like had an homage to her power draining abilities. They did that with the buffs and everything, but I feel like they could have gone a little bit more. Gambit was a little bit unique as well in this regard, and so Gambit was the first character to have a 0 energy cost special. So that was a new thing that they talked about in the strike time back in June or whenever, or so I guess it would have been April, May when they did this. And so Gambit had, when he's played by the AI, he has to be charged for the AI to use the special. But if you're controlling with the player, you could spam that special. Now it only does ability block when he has charge, but he can just keep using it for the bleed and the adjacent damage, which is really cool. That I consider to be a unique mechanic. Moving on from that, of course, the next biggest thing I would say probably was the combination of Spider Weaver and Red Hulk. The whole, the lowering of the minus 100% accuracy with charges on Spider Weaver. That was a pretty big thing. And with Red Hulk introducing the battlefield effect. So that's one thing that I felt that was missing from Apocalypse. Red Hulk introduced this really crazy thing about having a battlefield effect. We saw that, and that was brand new, and that was pretty huge, right? And it still kind of is, but they didn't really want to expand on this yet. They've introduced this brand new mechanic with Red Hulk with the battlefield effect, and yet they haven't really done that anymore since. Now, I know that they want to make it really unique, but I'm pretty sure when we first talked about it that they did have intentions of doing maybe support field effects as well on both sides, so not necessarily just negative status effects with debuffs and in the bleed in this case, but for your side of the team as well. So being a support character that Apocalypse is, I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't see something like some sort of support mechanic battlefield positive effect on our side. That would, I don't know, maybe do like healing or something. It would do a flat 30% healing of Apocalypse's hit points on a player's turn. Something like that. I mean, it could be really anything, and I'm surprised they didn't want to continue on with that, because I thought we'd see a little bit more. And it just makes me a little bit disappointed, that we just didn't see it for our 1 year kind of grind, that we didn't really see anything brand new. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I was over expecting, and I think part of that was really, what our expectations were as a community for Apocalypse, because he's going to be quite big, but we've spent so long thinking about him that maybe it just didn't hit the mark for some of us. He's, like I said before, he's going to be absolutely insane. He's going to be one of the best characters in the game. There's no doubt about that. I guess for how much time that we waited, his passive is actually nowhere near as long as characters like Dormammu. Dormammu has such an insane amount of passive length, and to talk about that, I want to talk about those 3 other characters. So let's start with Ultron. Ultron was one of the first characters that introduced basically a one-man army. His bots were so insane that he was the only character really that could flood the field on his own and kept going as a one-man army. He was, if you were playing 3 years ago or 3 or 4 years ago, he was crazy. Doctor Doom was the first character to have double traits. So he had both the Mystic and the Tech trait, which was really, really cool as well. They haven't really replicated that too many times outside of Kestrel, who is Tech and Skill, but they haven't really done that much more after that. And then Dormammu was the very first character who had basically a full revive, or an extra revive for the entire team, which was crazy as well. This was a brand new sort of mechanic that was introduced for these characters, and Apocalypse, yeah, okay, fine, great. Characters can't spawn with Safeguard. So it's good, but I feel that they could have gone a little bit further. That makes me a little bit disappointed. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel, though. And I want to kind of just show off my progress on my Blue 4 characters here with Apocalypse right now. So starting with the Darkhold team, I am done. You know, I wish there was a way that I could see all the Apocalypse Saga characters with one trait. So I'm done. I actually, so Morgan Le Fay is done, but I do have her on blue 4 with Skirmisher, because I did do that, and then I kind of went back on the Striker, because I was using Skirmisher blue 4 a lot in the arena back in the time, and then now I just use Striker a lot more for things like Cosmic Crucible and whatnot. So I'll be able to swap her back when I need to for the Apocalypse Saga. Second was obviously the Unlimited X-Men, and I actually only finished that more recently because I had it on some of the more important characters. But when it came to actually finishing them off, I was very reluctant on like putting blue 4 on Phantom X. I know I had to do it, but I did end up doing that. So that's 10 characters. After that is actually the Death Seed. So I know the Gamma's first, but I was finishing off Death Seed early on because I was using them in raids, and I was wondering whether or not that the new Doom Raid 4, which is around the corner, whether or not that would actually require blue 4. I doubt it, since they walked back the requirements on Doom Raid 3.5. But yeah, I ended up doing this because I am using them daily, so I wanted to get the most bang for my buck for there. So that's 15 characters done. Gamma, I am not done. I did start with Red Hulk, and then I did Hulk, and then I still have these 3 characters left to do. However, I am pretty close to getting another one, so I should have that done probably this week, and so that'll leave me with 4 characters left to do pretty soon. So in that order, and then of course we have the other 3 characters, which are going to be Spider-Weaver, Deathpool, and Kestrel. Now I do have Spider-Weaver done. So that's 1 done there. So I need the 2 other characters, or the other characters from the Gamma team, and then of course I need Kestrel and Deathpool, which I have not hit blue 4 on. I recently put them on to my, wherever I can find them. Kestrel here is gear tier 16. I recently hit that, and then Deathpool as well, wherever she is down here. So I don't have the blue 4s yet. So I am missing about 4 characters. And I wonder, do I still have that blue 4 ions? I made this chart way back when. Well, let me find it. This one. So I did this a while back. I did this like a long time ago. Maybe not that long ago. Whenever I did it anyways. And this is kind of what you should expect with blue 4 ions excluding events. So they haven't really improved the rewards yet as far as I'm aware with regards to Crucible. So that's still in there. I don't know why this is a question mark. Anyway, so yeah, it's right. So this is Coordinated Assault. Crucible does have blue 4 ions. I don't know why this is in here. Stark R&D also is not a thing anymore, so I don't know why we were talking about that. So there is blue. Basically, you're getting per month, I would say about 1.5 characters. That's just me spitballing because I don't have the numbers written down. I didn't think I was going to go to the spreadsheet. Per month. So if we have 1.5 characters per month on average for your blue 4, then that suggests that I'm probably going to be ready in about maybe 2 months. Now, of course, we are getting about blue 4 ions occasionally through leaderboards and other events, I believe. And if you want to whale out on some of these events, you're going to get it even quicker as well. Or if you want to spend, some of them did have leaderboards. I'm pretty sure it was the Peggy Carter event, right? That had blue 4 ions. Also, the Lunar New Year event does have them as well. I'm actually aiming for the 2 to 10% because it's got blue 4 ions, because I don't actually want to start collecting blue 5 yet. I want to get more of the blue 4 ions, so that gives me closer to Apocalypse. And that 300k here represents about a week and a half worth of blue 4 ions from both War and Crucible. So this is some pretty good value if you can actually just pigeonhole yourself somehow into the top 2 to 10%, and I guess not going too crazy on the scoring mechanisms, which would be, I guess, campaign energy, that might push you into the 1%. But yeah, that's just, where I'm at. So I'm about 4 characters away from unlocking Apocalypse. Let me know in the comments down below. I feel that as far as blue 4 ions go, since I started when the Apocalypse requirements were announced, I feel like I'm pretty average as far as player-wise. I don't spend on blue 4. I'm typically in the 1 to 5% like top range, and so I think this represents those kind of players quite well. I'm not over the top on Krakens. I've never bought blue 4 ions. So, this represents probably where a lot of you might be unless you spent. But that's why I'd love to know in the comments down below what your progress is towards Apocalypse. Also, let me know what you feel about Apocalypse just writ large. Are you happy with what you see about the character? Are you a little bit disappointed like I am that maybe he could have gone a little bit further in terms of creativity? That's just my thoughts anyways, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.